Mike, Penn State's recruiting for football. We had signing day last week.
Yep.
They had about 16, 17 guys they got signed. Overall, the big rivals and the scouts had them about 33, 36 in their rankings overall in the nation, which isn't too bad.
Well, it's not good, though.
But I'm looking at it, and I think even though they had a less amount of guys signed, the amount of stars, the amount of elite players looks a little bit bigger than they've had some other years. What's your take on this?
Well, if you went by the average star rating, and I leave it to you how much stock to put in the star ratings, but if you go by the average star rating, their class ranked 17th. They didn't have as many, and as we know, back around Thanksgiving, they had like 4 or 5 verbal commitments when Texas and Alabama had like around 20. But they signed 11, 12 kids since then. They didn't have as many scholarships available. Next year, they're going to have, I think they're going to have 25 available next year. And by consensus, Pennsylvania is going to be much better in terms of the high school kids that are out there available. Pennsylvania was really down this class and is supposed to be pretty solid in the next class. So it makes sense, kind of. There was a sky is falling thing and draw grand conclusions about the program thing regarding this recruiting situation a couple months ago. I think that's eased quite a bit.
There's a couple that slipped in late. Pittsburgh situation where Pitt was changing coaches, gave him a couple guys, and Maryland, they got a guy they committed to UConn, and now he's coming here.
He had verbally committed to UConn. Then Randy Edsall, who was the coach at UConn, left to go to Maryland. And even though this kid is from Maryland, he did not consider the University of Maryland where Randy Edsall is now. The last 3 were UConn, West Virginia, and Penn State. He chose Penn State on signing day. It's a kid named Adrian Amos, a safety he's going to be. Pretty good prospect. So that sort of tweaks their ranking up a little bit in the way things went on signing day.
Penn State gets 2 defensive ends out of the Philadelphia area that Philadelphia newspapers regarded very highly. Their defensive co-players of the year, both of them. Look like some good athletes out there.
Well, the one kid, I think his name's Oatman from Penwood. One of those that you're talking about, Starkey, is a huge kid, 6'9", I think. Saw him play basketball. He's obviously a pretty good athlete. He was not a great basketball player. To some extent, it was a football player playing hoops, as we've all seen that plenty of times. But I think they did. I think they did okay, and they clearly focused on, whether intentionally or not, on the line of scrimmage, on the line.
Is that a trend? I mean, you hear other places will say that this year you go after linemen, next year to be the specialty receivers and so forth. And I've seen that with Penn State recently. They're bringing a bunch of receivers all in at one time, and then the next year it's a bunch of linemen.
It's possible. You don't know. You don't know if those are
not.
If just in a certain year, certain kids are interested. I mean, who knows? I don't know how that works. They got a couple kids. That kid from Michigan, Zittel or something like that.
Yeah, he's probably going to play defense.
I think he was the one who was a surprise that they got out of the state of Michigan. They've done pretty well out of the state of Michigan in the last couple of years. Two things that I want to talk about with this recruiting. One is people say that it's a big deal. People argue about whether it's a big deal or not that Joe doesn't travel anymore. I really think there's a kid in New York, actually in Brooklyn, where Joe grew up. His name's Ishaq Williams, who really is considered to be, he was a 5-star player, has a chance to be an elite pass rusher at the college level, everybody says. Next year, that was a kid that they thought they had a shot at, didn't get him. He went to Notre Dame. He's going to Notre Dame. And maybe that's a guy where Joe running up to Brooklyn might have helped. That's one. The other is Penn State does not try to get a piece of these super hotbeds, which are California, Texas, Florida. They don't try. They only had 5 kids from Pennsylvania on this list. Pitt only had 5 kids from Pennsylvania out of 20 that they signed, but they had kids from Texas, Florida, which Penn State does not. I think that is a legitimate criticism of their approach to recruiting.
Time's going to tell if that's going to catch up with them here.